Welcome. You're joining us for a focused exploration today, a way to efficiently grasp something really valuable for, well, for your own growth.
Mm,
We're talking about the potent mix of self-reflection and using a dedicated journal, that notebook. It might be more powerful than you think.
absolutely. And we're not just talking about like listing what you did today. This is deeper. It's
Right.
about using a journal. And yeah, we've looked closely at Lestallion's journal notebook for self-reflection and growth
Yeah.
as a kind of structured space,
Okay.
a place to understand your inner world, track how you're changing, and, get closer to what you want.
Yeah, we have looked at Listallium before, haven't we? And what's interesting is how intentional they seem. It's not just blank paper.
Not at all.
It feels like a framework designed to encourage that deeper look inside. We should definitely point out some of those specific features as we go.
Good idea.
Because our goal today is really to explore how this kind of dedicated journaling can spark those aha moments, without just drowning you in theory.
Exactly. Because fundamentally, self-reflection, that deliberate act of looking at your thoughts, your feelings, your behaviors, it's the bedrock, really, for any genuine personal growth.
Without it, you're kind of flying blind.
Pretty much, yeah. If you don't have clarity on where you are now and why, figuring out where to go next is, well, it's tough.
Okay, so let's dive into that core idea. Journaling specifically for self-reflection, creating that consistent space to understand what makes you tick. And a journal, especially one like the Listallion that's designed with this in mind, it becomes more than just paper, right? It's like a private arena.
Exactly, a private, dedicated space,
Right.
crafted to help that internal exploration and, importantly, to actually support making positive changes based on what you find.
So it turns reflection from just a random thought into something concrete.
Yes, a tangible, ongoing practice. And when you do it consistently, you start seeing things, patterns in your thinking maybe. You understand your emotional reactions better.
Yeah.
And you get clearer on your values, your priorities, which ties right back into gaining knowledge efficiently because self-knowledge, that's foundational.
It impacts everything else.
Okay.
Now, the idea sounds good, but is there solid proof? What's the evidence that this actually helps?
Oh, definitely. The research is actually pretty compelling here. Study after study shows a real positive impact on emotional and psychological well-being.
Oh, so?
Well, think about it. When you write down your feelings, you're not just venting, you're processing them,
Yeah.
organizing them.
Okay.
There's research on expressive writing, for instance, showing measurable drops in stress hormones for people who regularly journal about emotions.
So it's more structured than just thinking about it.
Exactly. It's about observing and making sense of those feelings. And that process, writing it down, it builds self-understanding.
Which leads to emotional intelligence.
Yeah, it naturally grows. As you understand your own emotional landscape better, you get better at managing your emotions and also at understanding others. Self-awareness, self-regulation, empathy. Journaling helps strengthen all of that.
That's a really key point. What about the actual, physical act of writing? Pen on paper versus typing. Does that matter?
It does seem to, yes. Physically forming letters engages different brain pathways.
Huh. Interesting.
Research suggests this can boost memory, improve how you process information for decisions, even help with problem solving. There's a unique cognitive thing happening with handwriting.
So the medium itself has benefits.
It appears so. And that links to stress management, too. Journaling is a healthy outlet for anxiety.
Right.
Getting worries onto the page can give you perspective, but of psychological distance, it can help foster a more positive outlook.
And we know Listallion focuses on the writing experience. How do their features tie into these benefits we're talking about?
Well, things like the wood-free ivory-colored paper
Hmm.
and that 120 GSM thickness, it's not just looks.
Huh.
It makes writing more pleasant, physically. And if it feels good, you're more likely to do it consistently, right?
Makes sense.
Plus, less ink bleeding through means less distraction. But also, features like numbered pages and that built-in table of contents, super useful.
And tracking things.
Exactly. Imagine easily finding your thoughts from 6 months ago about a specific goal or challenge. You can literally see your progress, how your perspective shifted. It's powerful.
Like building your own personal knowledge base. Okay, so the science is there. A good journal helps. But sometimes you stare at that blank page, right? Where do you even start?
Ah, yes. That's where journal prompts come in. They're essentially targeted questions.
Little nudges.
Exactly. Designed to focus your thoughts on specific areas for self-discovery or growth. They give you a starting point when you feel stuck or just overwhelmed.
Like a guide for your inner exploration.
Precisely. And prompts can cover anything, really. Gratitude, goals, values, exploring specific emotions.
Okay.
They encourage you to look at parts of your inner life that might just get lost in the day-to-day shuffle.
And how do Lestallion's design choices fit with using prompts?
Well, that soft faux leather cover, it feels nice to hold, makes you want to pick it up. And the dashed lines inside, they give structure, but they're not rigid. You still have freedom to write, draw connections, whatever feels right when you're responding to a prompt. It feels less like homework, more like an invitation.
Features are one thing, but stories connect. Can you share maybe an example how prompts in a journal like this actually made a difference for someone?
Sure. I had this friend, let's call him David. He was feeling really adrift, just going through the motions career-wise, felt very unfulfilled.
I think a lot of people can relate to that.
Totally. So he decided to try journaling. He picked up a Lestallion, liked the feel of it, and started using some simple prompts, just things like, what activities genuinely make you feel energized? Or what values are most important to you right now?
Okay, basic but deep questions.
Exactly. And at first, it felt a bit forced, he said. But he kept at it. And over weeks, responding to these prompts, he started realizing how much he missed being creative, specifically woodworking, something he'd loved years ago but let slide. That clarity, which came directly from wrestling with those prompts in his journal, gave him the push to set up a small workshop again. It started as a hobby, but honestly, it reignited something in him, changed his whole outlook, even if it didn't immediately change his job. The prompts were the key to unlocking that realization.
That's a great story. It shows how guided reflection can really uncover things. Okay, so someone gets the journal, maybe uses prompts. How do they make it stick? Build the habit.
Consistency really is king here. The sources we looked at emphasize dedicating even a small slice of time each day.
It doesn't have to be hours.
Not at all, morning or evening, just a few minutes. Maybe to set intentions, maybe to reflect on the day.
So start small.
Definitely. 5-10 minutes. The key is making it regular, like brushing your teeth.
Right.
Maybe just jot down 3 things you're grateful for. Or name one emotion you felt strongly and why. Keep it simple at first.
And the Lestallion journal itself, how does it help with forming the habit?
Well, having 211 pages gives you a sense of, okay, this is a commitment, a longer-term thing.
Right.
The little back pocket is handy, too.
Yeah.
Maybe keep a list of favorite prompts there or an inspiring quote. Easy access. And even the line spacing, that 7.5 millimeter width, it's comfortable, not cramped.
Yeah.
Little things that make the act of writing less of a chore. I remember a family member, super busy schedule, always stressed, started using their journal for just 5 minutes each morning. Gratitude prompt.
Just 5 minutes.
Yeah. And they were genuinely surprised how quickly it became this anchor point, a little moment of calm and focus before the day hit them.
Yeah.
It became non-negotiable.
Creating that dedicated pause. Okay, so if someone sticks with it, what are the bigger picture results they might see?
The cumulative effects are pretty significant. We've talked about clearer thinking, better emotional understanding.
Right.
But it also seriously boosts goal setting and tracking. Writing goals down makes them more real somehow.
More tangible.
Exactly. Then you can break them down, track progress in the journal, stay motivated. It also really helps connect your daily actions back to your core values. Are you living in line with what matters?
That self-alignment piece.
Yes. And underlying it all is increased self-awareness. Understanding your strengths, your triggers, your patterns, it's invaluable.
And the mental health benefits you mentioned earlier.
Absolutely huge. A healthy channel for processing stuff, nurturing a more positive outlook, it makes a difference. And again, the journal itself, the durability, the feel of the softcover, it makes the whole process feel more, I don't know, substantial, like a worthwhile investment in yourself.
Makes you want to keep using it.
Exactly. A friend going through a really uncertain patch started journaling to unpack anxieties. They told me just the act of writing it down physically made the overwhelming feeling seem more manageable, less floaty and scary.
Like an external hard drive for your worries?
Yeah.
So practical tips for someone starting out to make it really effective.
Keep it simple. 1, set an intention. What do you want to explore today? 2, use prompts if you're stuck. Don't be afraid to.
Okay.
3, consistency over quantity. Short and regular beats long and sporadic.
Yeah.
And 4, be honest. It's your private space. No judgment.
That honesty part can be tough, can't it? Facing uncomfortable truths.
It really can. Self-reflection isn't always easy. It can stir things up.
Yeah.
But the journal is that safe container, a place to meet those feelings without judgment. It's about working through them, understanding those negative patterns, and ultimately shifting towards growth. Remembering the long-term benefits helps push through the discomfort.
And it all comes back to growth. Speaking of which, goals are so central to that. How does journaling specifically help with achieving aspirations?
It's crucial. Writing goals down, as we said, makes them concrete. It creates that roadmap.
Right.
And a journal like the Listallion with all that space is perfect for articulating goals clearly, breaking them down into small steps, and then tracking your progress.
So you can see how far you've come.
Exactly. Note successes, setbacks, what you learned. You can set short-term goals, long-term ones.
Yeah.
It helps keep you focused and allows you to adjust course as needed.
So it's not just setting the goal, it's the ongoing conversation with it.
Precisely that. Regularly checking in, reflecting on actions, celebrating wins, all within the journal.
This has been really illuminating. It's clear a journal, especially one like Listallion's that's built for purpose, is way more than just a notebook.
Absolutely. It's a dynamic tool for
Yeah.
self-reflection, for growth, for understanding yourself better.
Yeah, a structured yet flexible space to figure things out, track your journey, and actually work towards your goals.
Agreed. And the quality, the thoughtful design of something like the Listallion, it really seems built to support that consistent practice of self-discovery.
Yeah.
Makes it feel valuable.
So maybe the final thought for everyone listening is this. What could happen if you carved out just a few moments each day for real self-reflection with a journal, maybe using a tool designed for it, like the Listallion? What new awareness could that unlock? How could it drive your own development forward?
It's definitely an invitation worth considering. That power of consistent introspection, it's real.